And do you have a date in mind?
No, there's nothing to say.
Max Verstappen was bullish during the press conference at the Belgian Grand Prix. With short and snappy answers, he made it known to interviewer Tom Clarkson that he wasn't in the mood to share anything about his future at Oracle Red Bull Racing. Lucky for us, Max's manager had more to say about Verstappen's intentions. The only question is, will Mateschitz and Menslov go along with this? I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. In the last 2 weeks there was a lot of speculation about whether Max Verstappen would join McLaren or not. I even made a video about how well Max and the Papaya team fit together. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It was clear that Verstappen was very angry and disappointed after what happened at the Silverstone Grand Prix. He spun off due to a faulty rear wing, and he and the team had some differences about the setup, and the team stood their ground. At the same time, Red Bull GmbH is trying to put pressure on the Verstappen camp to get him to sign a new deal without exit clauses. They are willing to pay him extra for that, but as Verstappen, who recently decided to stay in F1 despite not being happy with the regulations, wants to win more titles. He's holding off on signing a new contract to see where Red Bull's at, performance-wise. Since he has a contract that keeps him at Red Bull for the 2027 and the 2028 seasons, there's no rush for him to put pen to paper on a new deal. He has said this quite a few times as well. He pointed out that he has until October to let Red Bull know if he's staying or not. And in the meantime, he has time to shop around. At Red Bull in Austria there are 2 new faces Verstappen has to deal with, compared to the good old days when Dieter Mateschitz was still alive and Helmut Marko and Christian Horner were still around. I think the way the new dynamic duo is approaching this new deal by saying Verstappen is ungrateful is not the best way to do things, especially after a weekend like the British Grand Prix. Now, I do realise that the big sponsors of Red Bull Racing are moaning to the Red Bull leadership, and they are getting nervous in their turn. But as the famous English idiom says, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. The Verstappen camp is made up of 3 Dutch people: Max, his father Jos, and their manager Raymond Vermeulen. I'm Dutch as well, and I know we like to be straightforward. If you do that, you get a straight answer back. It's pretty simple. Raymond Vermeulen did answer some questions about his client's future. He spoke with an Austrian outlet called OE24, and he said, a lot is being written, but the truth is that Max wants to finish his stint at Red Bull. He has a contract through 2028 and he wants to see it out. He was also asked about the picture of a meeting between Helmut Marko and the Verstappen camp, but that was a meeting that was already planned earlier, and Victoria, Max's sister, got married, so it was all a bit of a coincidence. He also said something about the famous exit clause that is always hanging above Red Bull's head. Vermeulen said, the fact that this clause exists doesn't mean we'll use it. We could have done so in recent years as well, but we didn't. Vermeulen is quite positive about Max's season in 2026, saying he could win races. He said that the chances at Zandvoort and Budapest are increasing, also because the Red Bull 4 powertrain engine is better than expected. So this is all quite a bit more positive than after Silverstone, which was to be expected. In Holland, we say that the soup is never eaten as hot as it's served, meaning that sometimes you need to cool things down a bit. Max was pretty cool during his interviews at Spa. He said he wasn't going to talk about it, and that if there was news, he'd let everyone know. He's not closing the door on anything here, and he also talked about the pressure from Red Bull. He said, you can't put pressure on it. Everyone will just have to wait. And this is what I mean when I say Verstappen is playing hardball. He's not giving anyone an inch. Not the media, and not the Red Bull leadership, and we as fans just have to wait as well. In the meantime, we can dissect what has been said here. First, a message from my sponsor. I've been using NordVPN for many years now. You can get deals for their products for a few quid, euros or dollars per month. I use it for many different reasons. First of all, I like to be protected so that websites don't know my location, because a VPN changes your IP address to the location you pick. I use it to watch movies on Tubi, which you can normally only access in the US. Then for Formula 1, I love me a good podcast or an interview with one of the drivers. If that happens to be on Sky, I can't watch it in Holland because it's geo-blocked, but if I set my VPN to London, I can watch it all. There's a link in the first comment and in the description for a great deal. It also helps the channel. What I make up out of the various quotes is that Max and his team are quite happy with where they are now. They are at a top team, even if they're fourth best sometimes. He's the number one driver, even if they don't listen sometimes. And he's getting that huge salary, which is what he needs to fund his other racing team. Now, I'm not saying he's only doing it for the cash. It's just that if you want to build something, you need to work hard for it, even if it's not fun sometimes. The fun has left the Red Bull team somewhat after all the departures, and there are more on the way, I believe. Verstappen also just hired a Belgian driver for his racing team, Verstappen.com. He has taken the 15-year-old Dries van Langendonk under his wings, and the goal is to get him into F1. He's a McLaren junior driver, so maybe Verstappen and Zak Brown had discussions about that. The rumours may have suited Verstappen as well, to make Red Bull sweat. As you all know, the results at Red Bull are gone as well, for now. So Verstappen is at Red Bull for the lack of a better alternative. I'm pretty sure that if he'd get an offer from Mercedes or Ferrari with the same conditions as he has at Red Bull, he'd be out of there. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. He has 2 more seasons under these conditions, and in F1 things can change very quickly. He might win a few races, and then I'll be singing a different tune again. So Raymond Vermeulen says Max wants to fulfill his contract. That sounds good. But Red Bull wants assurances for their sponsors and new staff. Verstappen won't give them that until he feels all the issues are sorted, which is his right to do. Now, I think at the head office in Austria, people started sweating after hearing the McLaren rumours, and that's why Vermeulen has reassured them that Max isn't walking away. He gave them that confirmation as a compromise. It's all about giving and taking in this business. Red Bull won't be completely happy, but at least it's something. And then Verstappen's comment about that there's no way to put pressure on him, that was a clear message to the top saying, you can come at me with your ungrateful nonsense, I'm not impressed. And then he talked about working to improve the car and it was back to normal again. And that's what it is for Verstappen. A regular weekend where he will try to maximize what's in the car and work on getting that first win of the season. Everything that needed to be said is said now. Back to work. Let's see how things go in Hungary and the Netherlands. I know the Macarena wing won't fail again because Verstappen is driving in Belgium with a normal wing. It would be nice to see him win in Zandvoort because I'll be there the whole weekend. Let me know if you're going as well, so we can meet up. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Take care now. Doei doei.